Hello and welcome to Medieval Dynasty. Well, it's almost the end of day 3 of summer, which means I'm just about to roll into autumn. So, oh, my torch broke as well. So I'm going to try and stumble through the dark and go to sleep and see if we get an event when we cross over to autumn. Nope, no event, but another foggy day. Right, fair enough. He's looking better. He looks a lot better these days. Anywho. So these are fields. So as far as... Ah, yeah, that's going to be handy. So that's what Edmund's going to have to get up to. He's going to have to harvest the cabbages. And he's going to have to harvest... I think that's the rye that we've got. Oh, it's oats. Okay, that just shows what I know. He's still going to finish that field over there. So I'm just going to leave him to it. Because the field over here for flax, we don't need that till... the spring of next year, but it's all ready to go. It's got all the fertilizer. I've torn this field down that I normally use just to get him to keep him occupied. So we'll see how he goes, and then we'll let him get on with it. And we're going to see how our little animals are getting on. I mean, what time is it? It's 7:30. Usually they're not awake at this time of day. Yeah, the pigs are asleep. Looks like the rooster's up. Oh wow! Crikey, so there's our rooster and our chicken. So I was expecting them to like have to wait until they got to one, but they're a half and they're a half. So how are the geese doing? Oh wow! I'm impressed. I think the pigs didn't really get to like adulthood until they got to 1, but oh cool. I love the colours on these, I must admit. I can't. It's a pity I can't seem to crouch down. Yes, I can. There you go. Good grief. So we'll see. We'll see how they. Yeah, fair enough. We'll see how they go, because if they start producing more chickens, I mean, there's a good deal of capacity in that. You know, for more of them. So we'll see how they go, because I know with the pigs. It can take a while before they start having little piglets. We've got a good bit of capacity in our little goose house as well, but looks like we're running out of animal feed. Well, actually, I'm not doing too bad, I must admit. I mean, I could leave it for now. I'll have to produce some more. So yeah, so I'm just going to leave Edmund to get on with this stuff. We seem to be okay with our animals over there. So how we're doing for our traps? So these both need servicing. Alright, I'm going to have to build a new one. One thing I'm still bothered about is food. So at the minute, I've been leaving some cabbages just on the off chance it doesn't go to plan, because we're running out of meat. We've still got quite a bit at the minute. I'll just have to see how long that lasts, because we've now got 2 hunters working out here. We'll see if that's either solved the food crisis that we had in the last episode, or whether it's still going to be a problem. So I think I'll turn all of this into the fertilizer. I need to get that trap done. Looks like we've got a house that's in need of a repair. So actually, let's have a look. We'll go around our management and see what's in what state. So we've got 2 houses need their roofs fixed. Ah, now they're out of knives, are they? That's interesting, because I made quite a few knives. Yeah, I made quite a few knives, and surprised if they've used them already. Okay, so I'm going to have to make some more knives. That'll solve their problems anyway, and I've really got to solve that. That's pretty much a priority, because of the food crisis we've had. The sewing hut, what are you complaining about? So I'm trying to get them to produce simple bags. I've unlocked linen thread, so I think I'm going to put a bit of time into that, because I don't need that. I dropped that down to 2. I wasn't sure how much needed to go into. I mean, I suppose we could probably just do 1, to be honest. Yeah, I think 1 might be enough, 1 a day, because these are really more for the for the well carry than anything else. So the linen thread, we need a ratio, I think it's like 2 linen thread to 1 fabric. So if we produce 2 of those, that said it needed 1. I could have sworn I needed 2. Oh no, that's it, because I needed 2. Yeah, I needed 2 of them to use the to make a bag. And the trouble is, it's difficult to tell what's going on without having the actual resources. It's not telling me how much it's actually going to produce. So if we make 1 of those, well, I need 2 fabric donors, so I need to make 2 of those to make 2 of those. I mean, I could leave it at about that. We'll see once we get enough of this converted over, because I can make quite a few. That's a thought. I could make some of these myself anyway. And let's get some of this. If we grab that, we'll head over to the sewing hut ourselves, and we'll convert these over, and then I'll put the finished produce back, and we'll see if how that does. So, oh, I needed more than that. You need quite a bit, I've noticed, just to make linen thread. Right, so that'll get us 11. So of course, I mean, she's doing stuff in the background, so she's getting us passive XP for production. In the meantime, we're getting our own XP by doing this. So we'll make some of this thread. I'll then convert some of it over into fabric, and then I'll get a better idea, because it seems that you need the resources to work out how much time, you know, results in how much produce. It's kind of odd, I find. It would be a lot easier to just said, like, you know, if you devote this amount of time, you get this amount of resources, but it doesn't seem to be working that way. Also be interesting to see if I get stuck again, because last time I tried this, I actually got stuck and I had to unstuck myself. Right, so we're almost finished. So, right, come out of that. Alright, okay, that worked that time. Okay, fair enough. Right, so I need 2 of them, don't I? To be able to make a bag, you need 2 of them. So I'll just make another one. I'll just leave the rest on the actual linen thread. Because yeah, I tested this out last night because I wanted to make some spare bows as well, just to be on the safe side, just to make sure that I've got the hunters covered. Right, so just dash over here. I'll pop these back into here. Right, so if we now go back to management, let's see if we can see anything more useful over on the sewing hut. So they're not complaining of resources. So 24% of the time gets a simple bag. So we really needed 4, didn't we? The ratio is 2 fabric to 1 bag. Okay, so then they've got, well, still got a bit of spare capacity, I suppose. So it's no harm converting that over, I suppose. And that, hopefully that'll keep us covered quite well for the farmers, so that takes some of the pressure off. All the rest of this stuff, all of the hats and what have you, I mean, we've got plenty of things ourselves, so I think until we get round to the, I mean, I could make them, because when we get round to like needing a horse, we can start making saddlebags and that sort of stuff. But I suppose until we get an actual market stall, don't have a particular need to make any of these at the minute. But I really need to fix that, fix these houses, and then we'll see where we go from there. Well, we're getting to the end of this day, and I've done the chores. I've gone around and done repairs. Anybody who's missing tools, I've replaced. I've made some slight changes with the smithy over there, because I think we've got like an excess of stone hose, so I've devoted some of that time away over to knives and pickaxes, because we were running out of those. Meat-wise, we seem to be doing a lot better. I mean, for one thing, we've got an extra hunter. still don't quite know what was going on there, but we seem to be doing better when it comes to food. I mean, we've got quite a lot of cabbage now, which they can eat, whereas before they couldn't, so maybe that will help. Although I still want to use most of that for rot anyway when it comes to the fertilizer. But I was thinking about what to do next, because I mean, we can't make the tier 2 that comes into extraction, doesn't it? There's a tier 2 could be under, it's not under survival. So there's the workshop, the smithy workshop again. Oh, there is it. So it's the woodshed. So the woodshed comes under building. That one would give us more capacity to then have more people who can then gather the wood, because that was a bit of a sticking point. I noticed we were running out of things like sticks, and we were running out of the firewood as well. So we could do with that getting plugged on. I'm going to park that for now, because I think what I want to do is I actually do want to focus on that, to be honest, this building technology. Partly for that, but also the fact that, yeah, we've got a long way to go to mining, and that's something else to get into, you know, make things more efficient. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to try and solve two problems here, because the smithy over there tends to run out of stone because we've got the making stone tools. And what I want to do is I want to upgrade these houses. I want to convert them over to stone walls with the tiled roofs. So there is a cave over there behind Branica. So we could go over there. We could start mining for copper. We'll get, you know, excess stone left over. So I could use the stone for the houses, and we can get the blacksmith to convert the copper across as well. So then we'll start getting like copper tools, which will be better. So that's killing two birds with one stone, basically. I mean, this production itself is still quite a ways away, although we've got somebody in a kitchen, we've got somebody in a workshop, somebody in a smithy, and somebody in a sewing hut, and yet it's still just slowly ticking along. I mean, we could speed it up if we start making more things ourselves, we start doing more cooking as well. So when you compare it to all the others, which are in the over 1,000, yeah, that is seriously lagging. So I think what I'll do is I'll make myself some pickaxes. I can leave them over here. I'll then head over to the cave, mine that, and we'll see what we get out of that, because I mean, I can work through the night, there's no problem. And I've still got 2 days left of this season. Well, I'll work my way through the night to try and get a lot of stone out of that cave up behind Branica over there. But I must admit, although they made it a bit easier, you can now use a torch and an actual pickaxe at the same time. It's still very difficult to see in that cave, so I went as far as I could, and then basically I just came back here. Now, for this last day, because we are now on the last day of autumn, I mean it's getting towards 9 o'clock, I've been upgrading quite a few of the houses, but I don't want to push people out on a night. I found that the morale goes seriously down quite low in the strategy I'm using, because I'm basically kicking people out of their own home. They've got nowhere else to go. I'm replacing the walls, I'm replacing the roof, and yeah, the morale, I mean, have a look. I think Bolomira, for example, she's at the moment, she's on like -8%. That was down to like -19 at some point. So it started coming back up again. We're done with Rosalinda and Namia. So her house was another house I did. But yeah, you need quite a lot of resources now. Because it's dark now, so it's a case of, I think what I'm going to do is, rather than carry on and where I'll just suddenly might get forced into the next season, I'm just going to go to sleep. We'll see if we get any interesting events when we go into winter time. You never know. Oh, we did. We feel inspired. So we can't deliver an inspiring speech because we don't have the diplomacy skill 5 to 10. So I've got 2 choices. I can either deliver a speech, don't bother with a speech, So, I mean, you never know. I think I'll give it a go. So we'll go with option 1. Let's see what happens. Oh, great. They enjoyed the speech. Great. That's good to know. So everyone's going to be more efficient. Right. Oh. Oh, hello. Has he grown up already? So Ulryk. Ulryk's now 2. Oh, wow. Ah, now that means... See, she doesn't have a profession. Before Damroka, she was classed as being a mother, so a mother at home. So she was no longer employable. So I think... I mean, technically it's winter, there's nothing to do, but I think I'm going to put her back into the fields. I mean, I did all of the, like the thrashing, you know, of all the grains and what have you. But so there's nothing like that to do in here. But at least I'll put her in there, so like when we do get into the springtime, that farming will go a lot quicker. Right, so that gives her something to do. Otherwise, I mean, her morale's going to keep going down anyway, because it's a case of like it's time to go back to work. And now then, ooh, I think I am quite pleased with that. So this is little Ulryk. Hello, little man.
Hello, mister.
Mister? Hello, mister. So let's have a look. So, so he's got a level 4 in survival. That's quite good, I must admit. And I just heard myself. I must be freezing. I forgot to put my furs back on. Right, where's all my clothes? Because usually I forget to take these off. But when I do remember to take them, off, I then forget to put them back on again. Right, that should be better. So we are at 85%. We've got 85% protection against the cold. So that should sort that out, I think, without having to go into the heat. Yeah, that's it. So we haven't had to go and find a fire. Yeah. It's no point telling you this now. I found that out the hard way in the first season. Right, so he's going to have a bit of a play around out here. Damroka at some point, well, she's got nothing to do. So I suppose because Edmund must have finished this field now. I may as well get this done. I'll give him something to do. So go back into building. Let's get a field built. Because otherwise there's literally nothing for the farmers to do at all. But the good thing is I've now got 2 of them. So things should go a bit better. Shouldn't need me like during the spring and the autumn to harvest things or plant things. Gone too far it seems. 8 by 12. Oh, okay. I suppose if I'd started it further up, I'd have been able to come further out there, but that'll keep them occupied for a while. Right, now let's put that away. There's no traps to serve, so that's alright. So we've got our animals over there. So, yeah, so I've been converting all of these houses across. I started with that one. I didn't touch ours because you're forcing people out of their home. And the morale was going down seriously low. I suppose there's different ways of tackling it. You could either have a spare house, because sometimes that's what I've done, where I've built like the next version, the better tier house, for example, and then started moving people into the bigger houses. That's one strategy you can use, so you don't have the morale hit. Otherwise, it's better to have all of the resources available before you start knocking things down. You look for these little houses here, you're looking at 48 planks, so I've had to knock down a lot of trees, for example. Yeah, the maple trees in particular. Convert all of those into planks myself, and just to make sure I've got enough ready. I was okay on the stone. It was really the planks and the logs, because you need logs. It's logs and stone that get used to make these houses. But it means right the way up to there, if you just exclude our house, we're done. Then we've got those 2 houses over there that I need to do. There's quite a few houses behind here that still need to be done. Although the hunter's house, I started upgrading his because Bolomira's been getting us limestone, so I've been upgrading his, so that makes his house more, better insulated, so it should be more durable. I mean, the stone ones are pretty durable anyway, to be fair, but it does give them a slight boost anyway, so it's worth doing it. So I'll just go at whatever pace Bolomira brings the limestone back. Speaking of things, now that we're in winter, what is important is Have we actually got any? Yeah, I noticed that we don't have enough firewood. Foobar. I'm gonna have to make sure everybody's got enough firewood. What about tools? It's extraction. Right, I'm not too fussed about buckets. At some point we'll start... Actually, that's a thought. How about we split it between the two of them? Because now we've got somebody in that sewing hut. She'll start producing water skins, while the person who's working in the workshop will produce the buckets of water. I had a check and there is a lot of water going spare anyway, but I may as well get them to do something. Hunting... Yeah, I'm not surprised. These, even when with only one hunter, the knives just don't last. So I'm gonna have to make some more knives before I do anything, well, much else. In the sewing hut, you don't have enough thread, and you don't have enough thread. Okay. Okay, so they're kind of like slightly out of sync, I suppose. So that's a bit odd. That, I mean, normally we go. Oh, in some respects that might be because they haven't got the resources. It's usually better when they've got the resources. But if I scale this back a bit, because I know I need at least 2, because that needs 1. That needs 2. Tricky. So until we get that, until she gets some more linen thread, I can't quite tell. I think I'll probably end up making quite a bit of linen thread, and then I'll try and balance this out. Because once it's back in sync, you can normally tell. So like at here at the moment, she's got a demand for like 2 linen fabric that can't be met. I mean, probably needs more linen thread. So, what actually? That's a thought. Can we get? Yeah, the capacity is 1 of 1, so I would have to get the next tier to be able to get more people in there anyway. But yeah, it's quite a few chores that I'm going to have to do. I'm really going to have to focus on things like the knives, because the knives are really important because of the food. I don't want to be running out of food again. So I think what I'll do is, oh, one other thing that I've just remembered there, tools as well, because now that I think about it, I have actually started making copper tools. So I've got a copper hammer and a copper axe, but I don't have enough money to meet the schema costs, because you've got to unlock the actual schema. So even though we can actually make copper tools, you've got to then unlock the individual schemas. So for example, the bronze ones, I haven't got enough technology points. With the copper ones, I've got enough technology points to get in to start doing copper, but I don't have enough. You've got to unlock the individual schemas to then actually make them, and all of these tools will be worthwhile as copper ones, so it's worthwhile buying these. The weapons, really just the copper arrows at this stage. So I think what I'll do is I'll sell off some flax, because I realised I've got a ton of flax seeds in here that I can actually sell off. Where did we get up to? I think it was like 500 or 600 or something. Yeah, 624. So as long as I keep, you know, like 100 in reserve, that's enough to cover the field out there next spring. It's, you know, as we get out to this field over here, because the plan is I think I'll probably end up building a farming village over here if it's flat enough. Maybe somewhere else, I'll have to see. But I'll need, you know, like a 16 by 16 field, which case in that time round I'll need a lot more. But in the meantime, it's a lot of flax I could sell off actually. Yeah, let's do that. I'll go and take that over to Gostovia, for example. I should be able to sell quite a bit of that, and then I can start unlocking the schemas. But I think once I've got all of these little chores sorted out, the plan is I want to get back to building these houses. I've got quite a bit of stone and quite a bit of planks still to go that I could use. But I'm going to have to go back to that cave and do a lot more mining, because the cave should have reset now that we're into a new season. So, yeah, still quite a lot to do. Well, as you can see, it's almost the end of winter, so I've pretty much paused it at this sort of like map here, because otherwise I'm just going to be forced straight into spring. But yeah, 2 days and it's a case of I still haven't finished. So I've done like two seasons of just basically building houses or upgrading them from wattle walls and thatch roofs to stone walls and tile roofs, and I've still got, well, there's still those 3 on that row plus 3 on this row here, which includes our house. So I think I'm just like surprised it's taken me this long, because normally I don't do wattle walls and the actual sort of like straw roofs. I might start off doing that, but as soon as I can start building stone houses, as soon as I can start building the actual tile roofs, I just use those. So I'm not quite sure why I did it that way, because it's come back to bite me. It's just taking so long to upgrade them. I mean, 2 seasons and I'm still not even finished. So it's obviously going to take me a lot longer. So I think I'm going to take a break from that. I mean, I'm getting quite a lot of technology in, building technology points, I must admit, which is good. I mean, we actually crossed the 1500 mark, which means I can actually build a house. So that's it's better than a simple house. It's the same number of people, which is interesting, but they do get a much bigger morale boost. But it's really that woodshed Mark II I'm interested in, because then we can hire more people and put them into the woodshed. At the moment, I'm limited to like 1 person that we can put into the woodshed. If we go to the extraction, yeah, you can only have 1 person. So the actual sewing hut, I've tweaked the settings on that a bit. So now that's working a bit better. So we've got a bit of a surplus on, like, say, linen thread, but they haven't been running out of anything. I made quite a bit of linen, because I had problems with getting them to make the water skin. So I've just been tweaking the figures a bit. Now that's kind of sorted things out. So they're, making all the different items that I need. So that's a lot better now. But I needed enough resources to be able to find out what these totals would be, and then to work things out. Because obviously at the time they weren't producing enough linen, so I had to start producing other items that we're going to make to just balance everything out. And this is the page that I come to find out whether things are going to work or not. And you can see they're going through quite a lot of flax stalks. They'll go through quite a lot of leather as well. So it gives you some idea of, how much things are going to cost, but you can also work out how much time it's going to take. I'm quite pleased because she's now up to level 4 as well. And just out of curiosity, how's other people doing? So yeah, so she's up to level 4. Damroka's, she's on 4 because we've only just brought her back in the field. But I mean, Edmund, who's our farmer, he took over from Damroka for a while. That's for 2 years. He's up to level 5. Gertruda, who's a hunter, she's up to level 4. Gustawa, she's at level 2. Level 4 rather, on her crafting. So she's working in the workshop, which is something we built a lot later. Huberta's up to level 4 as an animal breeder. We've got Rosalinda, she's up to level 4 as our cook. So these are later entries. Well, I'm surprised at Siegfried, because usually the lumberjack did quite well, so he seems to be taking a while. Now, Ulryk, I think she'll catch up quite quickly as well, because that tends to be something it does well. You can see all these different people where the morale's starting to get up into the 30s now, because they've got stone houses, but yeah, it doesn't really have much impact on their production, I must admit. But yeah, I think the plan now is to kind of get back onto these quests, because I've let them slide for a while. I mean, there's still quite a while to do. I mean, we still need to win this archery competition with Alwyn, and we need to go and find out more about Kestrel. So I think we'll probably do that in the springtime. But that's all for another episode.